KD was so much surprised by the double team because he saw it so much in the regular season, but there was no answer that they had out of it. You used a good word. You used an SAT word on the Wildly Successful Hoop Collective podcast about the approach here that we need to go, the two-pronged approach for...
Bifurcated. Yeah, there's two things going on here. At one point,
wait.
First of all, you got to define it. You got to explain it.
We're going to take a bifurcated approach to discussing.
Because I think the Lakers, there's two things going on, basically. Perk, it means two things are going on, all right? Okay. The one thing going on is that the Lakers are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a really good game plan. They got 48 points from Luke Kennard and from Marcus Smart yesterday. That's probably akin to what they would have gotten from Doncic and Reeves, okay? And especially, they scored 101. They got 48 from those two guys, okay? That's pretty good. The second thing is the Rockets offensively are just an absolute disaster.
Right.
9 turnovers for Kevin Durant. Some of it is his mistake. Some of it is the scheme. Like, 101 points. I know that we showed the Rockets screwing up on defense. You can survive 101 points in 2026. You should be able to score 102. They can't score anything on offense.
So in that bifurcated approach, Perk, when you're looking at the Lakers side of all of this, what did they do? Because, yes, of course, it was the Rockets' mistakes, but what impressed you about the game plan that they executed?
Well, I mean, it's the IQ, right? And then we got to give a lot of flowers to J.J. Redick because he deserved every bit of it, right? When you talk about putting together a game plan, when you talk about empowering the role players and others to elevate their game, Jackson Hayes played the best game that I've seen him play in a long time. If you're a box score watcher, then you won't be able to see exactly or hear what I'm saying. But when you talk about doing the little things, he maxed out. That possession in the fourth quarter where he got the ball from LeBron in the pocket pass and he made the simple high IQ pass to the wing and then they swung it to the corner to Marcus Smart for the three. That was big. That was a crucial play. So again, when you think about what J.J. Redick is putting together, he's out coaching Ime Udoka. He's maxing out his guys. His rotations are on point, and that's why we're seeing the difference between the two.
And the numbers to back you up, Perk. Kevin Durant was doubled on 14 plays. The Rockets actually shot 6 for 11. They scored 13 points out of the double. It felt like they shot way worse, whereas he only had 2 points and only attempted 3 shots. To me, that's by design for him not to shoot.
It feels like the solution, they were passing out of the double a little better in the fourth quarter.
Not well enough for me, but
it's going to have to be a men, right? It's going to have to be a men who's going.
Let go and let God for me.
Well, then what do you say? Amen.
So we are excited for that. We will get to Wemby, a horrible fall last night with a concussion, but huge win late last night for the Lakers, up 2-0. How did Luka do? Oh, he's not playing. How did Reeves do? He's not playing. It does not matter. Good morning, Smalls. Good morning, Cece.
Oh, it's a great morning, a glorious morning. I'm sure the guys in Vegas East feel good, Cam Pratt and Pat Costello, because their Sixers found a way to upset the Boston Celtics in Game 2. But my Lakers, can I just say this? The Lakers last night were unbelievable. And it's not just LeBron James. It's so many of the others getting involved. DeAndre Ayton showing up. But Rui Hachimura, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, those guys and their shot making and then on the defensive end were absolutely phenomenal. And the backdoor cut by LeBron James on Tara Eason in the final minute of the game for the dunk and the finish to make it a 7-point game with 50 seconds to go, that was a microcosm of Game 2. The Lakers are a team that's like that old man in a pickup game that shows up with knee sleeves and elbow pads, and it doesn't beat you because of his athleticism. He beats you because of his IQ. And that was the Lakers last night. I mean, J.J. Redick put together a hell of a plan, and those guys went out there and executed. They had a lot of half-court actions that led to easy shots, pick and rolls, dunks, and layups at the rim. They played well defensively. I thought Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura did the job on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant ghosted the Houston Rockets in the second half. The dude had 1 made field goal in 22 minutes with 5 turnovers in the second half. That is inexcusable. But I think that was in part because the defense from Rui and Jared Vanderbilt was so good. But yeah, the Lakers did a really good job of being able to set guys up, get them the ball in their spots where they were able to be effective. And last night was a phenomenal win for them. And now we know that the Lakers are probably going to have an opportunity at some point to get either Luka Doncic or Austin Reeves back in these playoffs.
And how excited are you about that?
Ooh, let's go. Let's go.
I'm quite frankly stunned that the Lakers are in this position, that they're up 2-0. And I know in game one, KD was out, so you could rationalize that. But with him coming back last night, I thought, okay, Houston is going to get back on the board here. They're going to get back in their rhythm. And with Reeves and Luka still out for the Lakers, I didn't think that LeBron would be able to handle it. Marcus Smart was unbelievable last night. As you mentioned, the supporting cast, in addition to LeBron, was great. But I don't want to take away anything from what the Lakers did. They were awesome. But to me, it's more an indictment on the Houston Rockets, is it not?
Well, I picked the Lakers to win this series, and I screwed up because I picked them in 7. That's too many games.
Yeah.
Too many games. I picked before the series Lakers in 7, and I think that many people were surprised by that. I just don't understand why we looked at the Lakers and thought that they were so terrible without Luka and Reeves. I didn't pick them against Oklahoma City. I didn't pick them against a healthy Spurs team. I picked them against a Houston Rockets team that finished strong, but through the majority of the season, there was stuff with them, right? And it all stemmed from Fred VanVleet getting hurt, their starting point guard. They never really replaced him. They didn't have anyone to organize the team. But the Lakers have good players. Great players? I'm not saying that outside of LeBron. And let me just give LeBron credit. Because I am a hater on the floor of LeBron James. I am a bitter ex-lover of his with the Miami Heat, right? Like leaving my team. I'm always bitter about LeBron. And I was bitter when he was with the Heat and before the Heat. I've always been bitter about him because an MJ, right? 28 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists in 39 minutes. Oh, my 2 other guys are not here? All right, bet. I'm good. He's unbelievable. Kudos to LeBron James at 40-plus years old, leading his team to a 2-0 lead in the playoffs against the Houston Rockets and against another first-ballot Hall of Famer in Kevin Durant. He's awesome. LeBron James, at this point in his career, needs to, by himself, and it's really not by himself, win 1 series to get his guys back to potentially win more series. Kudos to LeBron James. No negative spin from me at all. Now, Nuno has one. No negative spin at all from me. But you brought up something interesting, Smalls. You said, hey, this is more of an indictment on the Rockets. We need to talk about that side of things. Rhetorical question. You want to hear what Wendy had to say?
Come on. I always want to hear what Wendy has to say.
Here's Brian Windhorst, ESPN senior NBA writer, Hoop Collective podcast, available on the ESPN app, with Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter last night after the Lakers beat the Rockets in Game 2.
I know Kevin Durant has this bruised knee. He's obviously not 100%. He's got 9 turnovers in this game. He's got 9 turnovers. This is just an unacceptable showing. And again, like we have seen for months, coming down the stretch of a close game, the Rockets got nothing on offense. They got nothing. The Lakers are bringing double teams like everybody has for months. And Durant is turning the ball over, getting his pocket picked, throwing insane, wild passes. Alperen Şengün is not able to make a basket against Jackson Hayes for much of the second half. Jackson Hayes is plus 12 in this game defending Alperen Şengün, an all-star. Not acceptable for the Rockets. I take my hat off to the Lakers. I take my hat off to LeBron. They are doing a great job. Very impressive to get up 2-0. But the Rockets have to be disgusted to be down 0-2 in this series.
When Wendy takes a team to task like that, it's over.
Like he did with Luka and the Mavs?
Like he did with Luka and the Mavs.
Yep.
It's not because he's piling on. It's because he sees something and he knows things and he's like, okay, well, this is a problem, right? This is a major problem. And, of course, you hear all the games on ESPN Radio. Catch postseason action on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app presented by Gusto. So, you see, I know, obviously, your focus is on the Lakers because you're a Lakers fan. But the Rockets are a mess.
Yeah, they don't have any leadership.
And what does that say about the guy that they acquired this offseason, who I love, and Kevin Durant?
I don't think anybody is going to conflate Kevin Durant's talent and his production with leadership. I mean, we've seen that time and time again. Anytime KD has to go into a situation that is devoid of leadership outside of his own, or anytime he's in a situation where he's thrust to the forefront of a franchise, they're going to struggle. It happened in Brooklyn. It happened in Phoenix. It's now happening in Houston. So I'm not surprised that this is a team that struggled when it comes to closely contested games in the fourth quarter. I'm just surprised that the game was closely contested against the Lakers team that was missing 60 points in the lineup because of Luka and Austin Reeves.
Right.
I was surprised that it was a close game. And listen, I will say this. Kevin Durant came out and he was on one at the beginning of that game. I mean, he had 20 points in the first half. The Lakers survived the Kevin Durant wave because the dude missed game one because of the knee injury that he suffered in practice last week. He came out with something on his mind. And after that initial surge by KD, the Lakers settled into the game plan. I thought defensively they did a great job of running a couple of different bodies at him, guys that are athletic, guys that are rangy, guys that are long, and it forced him to struggle. They double-teamed him, got the ball out of his hands, and what you found out about the Houston Rockets is not having a point guard as seasoned as Fred VanVleet on the floor is going to create a lot of up and downs, a lot of inconsistency when it comes to the young players that they thought were going to be the core of a team that had a extended championship window. What we learned is Amen Thompson ain't ready. What we learned is Jabari Smith ain't ready. He was a liability on the defensive end. I talked about the Lakers attacking Alperen Şengün and attacking Reeves Shepherd. Let me tell you something. They went at Jabari Smith's neck last night, and they were getting buckets over and over and over again. It was incredible. I was just shocked by it. But the one thing that we see when it comes to young players in this league is that if they're not doing well on the offensive end of the court, their defense suffers. And that's exactly what we saw from the young players from the Houston Rockets. They weren't doing great on the offensive end. Their defense struggled when it mattered.
So more impactful for them this year, Kevin Durant playing or Fred VanVleet not playing?
Oh, VanVleet not playing. No question.
And where does that lead you to go with this team? Because I don't believe they can come back from 0-2.
No, I don't.
No, they got to win 4 of the next 5. They're not going to do that.
Okay, so then
No.
their resume, which will be on ZipRecruiter, of course, their resume at the end of this first round will be a first-round playoff series loss to the Los Angeles Lakers without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves playing a single minute in the series.
Here's the thing. They're going to lose again in the first round of the playoffs in back-to-back years. They're going to lose it again. They at least went to 7 games with the Warriors last year. I mean, are we sure we going to get to 6 games in this series?
No, absolutely not.
I'm not sure.
Are we sure? This has sweep or gentleman's sweep written all over it.
Absolutely.
Maybe the Lakers decide they're going to give him a game in Houston because we're gonna scale back LeBron James because he's been doing so much.
Oh, load managing the playoffs. I like it.
Rest
night.
Well, guess what? We can afford to do it now. We can load
That'd be
manage LeBron
amazing.
now.
You got some games in hand. Why not?
We good.
JJ comes out. LeBron ain't playing.
We looking ahead to the Oklahoma City Thunder matchup.
He's got to get ready to guard Shea.
Watch them load manage LeBron and the Lakers still win.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. All right, quickly here, because there's been a lot of positives.
Oh.
Negative, Nuno? Go ahead. Go ahead, Nuno, about LeBron specifically.
Well, I mean, after just that staunch, ain't no way in heck that the Rockets coming back, do I even ask the question if, hey, just hypothetically speaking, what if LeBron and the Lakers blow this series? Bad luck for LeBron? I'm just saying.
What are you going to do? You're going to take him out of the Hall of Fame? You're not going to vote him in?
No, but I'm just, are we, here, let me phrase it this way. Are we done? The Lakers have no excuse in this series not to actually finish it off, even though they don't have Luka and Austin Reeves.
I'm not even going to go to the place of the Lakers having no excuse because I just think that's crazy town. The Lakers are going to win this series. And here's the thing. The Rockets are down 0-2. This is a leadership moment. Who in that locker room is going to give it to you?
Season. I've been doing this now 21. I think my first postseason game was 21. So 20 years. I know I missed it a couple of times, but from that moment at 21, that first game, I made my mark. And for 20 years, I've been thinking about the postseason. So I don't shy away from it.
Kendrick Perkins back here with us on SportsCenter and Perk. What stands out to you about how the Lakers are playing right now? Up 2-0 in this series. No Luka Doncic and no Austin Reeves. I think we're losing this. I think we lost the sound on you, Perk. Okay, I think we lost the sound on Perk real quick. Perk, can you talk to me one more time? Maybe we do have you.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Now I got you.
Can I give a credit to a guy on the sideline by the name of J.J. Redick that is coaching his ass off, that is putting his team in position to be successful on both ends of the floor, that has a game plan defensively to make the Rockets shoot the ball because he know that they can't shoot, to double team Kevin Durant because he knows that Kevin Durant is not a great decision maker Outside of that, offensively, he is putting his guys in position to be successful and maxing out guys. Luke Kennard has back-to-back 20-plus point games. Obviously, LeBron James has been doing his thing, which is expected. And then you have Marcus Smart. Not only is he scoring the ball at a high level, but the trust that they have in Marcus Smart to be another facilitator on the side of LeBron James. I'm watching Jackson Hayes. He's maxing out. He's doing his job and being a star in his role. When you look at the Lakers, they have their game plan. Guys are sticking to it, and J.J. Redick is getting the best out of each and every one of his guys, and this is why the Lakers have a 2-0 lead right now over the Rockets.
Yeah, Lakers just winning the game on the margins with those players, Marcus Smart and Luke Kennard being added to that roster. Kendrick Perkins with the latest. Thanks so much, Perk.
The Los Angeles Lakers just went up 2-0 against the Houston Rockets, with Kevin Durant back on the floor. LeBron James had 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Marcus Smart had 25 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals, setting a new franchise record in the process. Luke Kennard followed his 27-point Game 1 with 23 more in Game 2 and received MVP chants from the Crypto.com arena crowd. Durant scored 23 points but had 9 turnovers and only 3 points in the entire second half, while LeBron threw fastballs, curveballs, sinkers, and knuckleballs at him defensively. Kevin Durant has now lost 7 consecutive playoff games. His last victory was May 7th, 2023. LeBron-led teams are now 32-0 when going up 2-0 in a playoff series. Teams that go up 2-0 are 433 and 34 historically. Austin Reeves has started one-on-one on-court work and could return late in this series. Doncic is preparing to begin his return to play progression. The Celtics watched Marcus Smart put on a two-way clinic for their most bitter rival. On the same night, Boston shot 26% from 3 and lost Game 2 to Philadelphia. And 11 of 12 ESPN analysts picked the Rockets to win this series. The 12th is feeling very good about himself right now. Game 3 is Friday in Houston. Let us talk about everything that just happened. Hit that like button right now because this channel has been riding with this team since before anyone believed. And if you are not subscribed yet, you are genuinely missing the most complete Lakers playoff coverage available anywhere on the internet. So let us begin talking firstly about the historical impossibility that the Los Angeles Lakers just turned into basketball reality. Because winning 2 playoff games consecutively while missing 2 players who each averaged over 20 points per game and made over 100 three-pointers during the regular season had never happened in the entire history of the NBA before this series. And the specific fact that OptaStats confirmed both of those unprecedented wins belong to this year's Lakers tells you more about what this team has accomplished in the first week of the postseason than any narrative about LeBron's age or Durant's knee, or the odds that 11 of 12 ESPN analysts confidently assigned to Houston before Game 1. The Lakers won Game 2 101-94 against a team that got Kevin Durant back from injury, that dominated on the offensive glass and won multiple hustle categories. And that needed this game more than any single game has been needed by any team in a series that has barely begun. Durant said after the game that his team dominated every other aspect of the game, but the Lakers dominated in shot making, which is the specific admission from the opposing franchise player that confirms Redick's game plan was exactly right and exactly executed. Because the Lakers built their entire competitive structure around the idea that they could generate higher quality shots than Houston in a controlled half-court environment, even without their 2 primary creators. And then they did exactly that for 48 minutes against a defense that ranked 5th in the league this season. LeBron James said they had to be twice as desperate in Game 2 as they were in Game 1. And the specific language of desperation from a player who has won 4 championships and played in more playoff games than anyone in league history, is not dramatic performance, but precise competitive diagnosis. The Rockets came into Game 2 with urgency. The Lakers met that urgency with something they had not needed to produce in Game 1. A grinding, physical, possession-by-possession defensive commitment that held Houston to 40.4% from the field and 24.1% from 3, even with Durant scoring 23 points in the game. LeBron finished 8 of 20 from the field, not his cleanest shooting night, but went 10 of 14 from the free throw line and made every single critical play at the end of the game that a team needs from its leader to close out a road game atmosphere at home against a desperate opponent. The monster two-handed dunk over Şengün late in the fourth quarter that pushed the lead back to 7 with the outcome hanging in the balance is the specific play that a 41-year-old is not supposed to be making in the closing minutes of a playoff game. And it is the specific play that separates LeBron James from every analytical framework designed to describe the competitive limits of what human beings can produce at his age. Thinking about it carefully, the 2-0 lead the Lakers have built without Doncic and Reeves is not just a competitive advantage in this specific series. It is the organizational statement that the team's character, culture, and collective competence are genuine, rather than dependent on any two individuals. And that the foundation JJ Redick has built is strong enough to win without the stars it was supposedly constructed around. The defensive masterpiece the Lakers produced against Kevin Durant in the second half of Game 2 deserves the specific and detailed examination that Carmelo Anthony and Vince Carter both provided in their post-game analysis. Because what LeBron described as throwing fastballs, curveballs, sinkers, and knuckleballs at Durant was not a casual metaphor, but a precise description of a defensive scheme that the entire basketball world needs to study as the most complete containment of Kevin Durant in a playoff environment that has been documented in recent years. Durant scored 20 points in the first half on 6 of 7 shooting, which is the specific sequence that suggests the Lakers' game plan was not to stop Durant in the first half, but to let him establish false confidence in his preferred spots while gathering real-time information about which actions the scheme needed to close in the second half. Then the Lakers held him to 3 points in the entire second half, including a single point in the third quarter, forced 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter, 3 of them in the final 4 minutes when the game was genuinely competitive, and produced the specific second half defensive performance against a Hall of Fame scorer that Carmelo Anthony identified as the direct product of LeBron's basketball IQ and Redick's coaching precision. Melo said it directly after the game. "We are not going to let you play, Kevin Durant. It does not matter what you do. Whoever else beats us is going to beat us, but we are not letting you play." Vince Carter added that what frustrated Durant most was starting his move, the spin move, the isolation, his preferred footwork, and suddenly seeing 2 or 3 bodies appearing in mid-dribble, mid-shot, not knowing what to do, completely flustered. Durant had 9 total turnovers in the game. 4 of them came in the final 4 minutes. That is the specific competitive portrait of a player who was being shown constantly different looks and who could not find the rhythm or the decision-making clarity to process those looks quickly enough in the specific game situations where the pressure was maximum. Durant said after the game that he felt like he had a bad game, which is a rare level of personal accountability from a player of his stature, and which communicates precisely how disruptive the defensive scheme actually was from his own competitive perspective. I believe the second half Durant containment in Game 2 is the single most impressive coaching achievement of JJ Redick's career to this point. More impressive than the 50-win regular seasons, More impressive than the tactical adjustments that produced the Game 1 win without Durant. Because limiting Kevin Durant to 3 second-half points in a playoff game where his team needed a win and where he came in with momentum from a strong first half requires both the tactical sophistication to design the scheme and the organizational trust from every player on the floor to execute it under maximum competitive pressure. Marcus Smart having 25 points, 7 assists, and 5 steals in Game 2 while setting a franchise record in the process is the performance that makes every conversation about his long-term Lakers future obvious, in the way that only playoff performances under genuine pressure can make organizational decisions obvious. LeBron called him battle-tested. LeBron said he is not afraid of the moment and that having someone like that brings composure to the entire team. JJ Redick called it a killer game. And none of those post-game statements were organizational diplomacy. They were honest assessments from people who watched Smart make 8 of 13 from the field, including 5 three-pointers, contribute 7 assists and 5 steals, and provide the specific defensive disruption that produced Durant's 4 fourth-quarter turnovers through the physical pressure and unpredictable positioning that has defined Smart's competitive identity since his Boston days. The Celtics, watching Smart put on this performance on the same night they shot 26% from 3 and lost Game 2 to the Philadelphia 76ers, is the specific irony that the basketball universe constructed without any assistance. The player they traded in 2023 to acquire Kristaps Porzingis, the player who passed through Memphis and Washington before arriving in Los Angeles on a buyout. The player who missed nearly 3 weeks of the regular season with an ankle injury before returning for exactly these moments is now the most impactful two-way contributor on the roster that eliminated Porzingis' team from championship contention last summer. Smart averaged 20 points, 7.5 assists, 3 steals, and 1.5 blocks across the first 2 games of this series on 52% from the field and 50% from 3. Numbers that are not built to last at that exact level, as the article correctly identifies, but that establish the specific competitive quality and organizational value that makes the conversation about retaining him this summer feel less like a choice and more like an obligation. His player option at $5.4 million will be declined for a larger deal. And the specific question of what a larger deal looks like for a player who just delivered back-to-back playoff performances of this quality while providing the defensive identity and leadership presence that LeBron specifically praised as essential to the team's competitive composure is one that Pelinka needs to answer before the market answers it with a number the Lakers cannot comfortably pay. I believe Smart's games 1 and 2 in this series represent the most compelling possible argument for his organizational retention. Not because the numbers will stay at this exact level, but because the specific competitive profile he brings, the toughness, the decision-making, the defensive disruption, the vocal leadership, is genuinely irreplaceable at the price point his market value after this performance is going to produce. Now, if you have been watching this Lakers playoff run and you want to be first to get the Game 3 breakdown the moment it ends Friday in Houston, the subscribe button is literally right there and it costs you nothing. This channel goes deeper on the Lakers than anyone else, and the content does not stop until this run is over. Kevin Durant has now lost 7 consecutive playoff games, and his last playoff victory was May 7th, 2023, a statistical reality that the basketball conversation tends to avoid because Durant's individual performances are consistently elite enough to obscure the team-level pattern that has defined his competitive trajectory since leaving Golden State. And because the specific discomfort of saying that one of the 5 greatest scorers in the history of basketball is not a playoff winner at this stage of his career requires the kind of honesty that most mainstream coverage is reluctant to deliver. The pattern is specific and documented. The 2023 Suns lost the final 2 games of their second-round series to the Nuggets with Durant playing, were swept in the first round by the Timberwolves in 2024, and are now 0-2 in the 2026 first round against a depleted Lakers roster that 11 of 12 ESPN analysts chose against before the series started. Durant individually was excellent in Game 2. 23 points on 9 of 21 shooting is not a poor performance from a player managing a practice knee injury. But the specific relationship between his individual excellence and his team's competitive outcomes has been the defining paradox of his post-Warriors career. And the 9 turnovers in Game 2, including the critical 4 in the fourth quarter, represent the specific competitive failure mode that his teams keep discovering in the moments when individual excellence is most insufficient as a replacement for team cohesion and collective execution. Durant, after the game, identified the problem precisely. They are making threes, and we are not. That is not a complicated diagnosis. Houston shot 24.1% from 3 in Game 2. The Lakers shot 46% from 3. Those are not sustainable divergences over a 7-game series in either direction, which means Games 3 and 4 in Houston will look different from Games 1 and 2 in Los Angeles, regardless of the tactical adjustments either coaching staff makes. But the specific competitive advantage of a 2-0 series lead heading into 2 road games means the Lakers can absorb a Houston correction game and still control the series, while the Rockets cannot absorb another loss without the series being functionally over. LeBron-led teams are 32-0 when they go up 2-0 in a playoff series. Teams that go up 2-0 historically are 4-33-34. These are the specific numbers that the Rockets and their fans need to sit with heading into Game 3, and that the Lakers and their fans need to appreciate without allowing the appreciation to become the specific overconfidence that has derailed competitive organizations in exactly this situation across playoff history. The Austin Reeves injury update that arrived today is the specific piece of medical news that transforms the already favorable competitive landscape for the Lakers from encouraging to genuinely threatening for every team remaining in the Western Conference bracket. Shams Charania confirmed today that Reeves has started one-on-one on-court work. Not practice drills in the corner, not stationary shooting, but actual competitive on-court one-on-one activity that represents a meaningful and specific progression from the physical rehabilitation phase into the basketball movement phase of his recovery from the grade 2 oblique strain. The sense around the Lakers, Charania reported, is that Reeves is actually further along in his rehabilitation than Doncic, which is the specific organizational intelligence that reverses the pre-series conventional wisdom that Doncic's stem cell treatment in Spain would compress his timeline more dramatically than Reeves's conventional rehabilitation could compress his. Reeves still needs to progress through 3-on-3 and 5-on-5 work before any return to game action is medically appropriate. But the specific trajectory of someone who has already started one-on-one drills within the first 4 weeks of a 4 to 6 week oblique strain recovery points toward a potential return late in this series or early in the second round if the Lakers advance. Doncic, by contrast, is described as preparing to begin his return to play progression, which is an encouraging organizational signal that the hamstring has responded well enough to the Spanish treatment to allow movement activity. but which places his competitive availability firmly in second-round territory at the earliest, based on the specific gap between beginning a return progression and being cleared for playoff basketball. The specific competitive implication of Reeves potentially returning in games 5, 6, or 7 of this series is the one that makes the Rockets' situation genuinely desperate rather than merely difficult. Because a Houston team that is already losing without Durant at full capacity and without the Lakers having Reeves would face the specific nightmare scenario of the series extending into territory where Reeves rejoins a team that has built organizational momentum and a coherent competitive identity over 4 games rather than the original scenario where Reeves returns to a team that is scrambling to survive. I believe the Reeves rehabilitation update is the most important news from today beyond the Game 2 result itself, and that the specific trajectory his recovery is on creates the precise competitive window that the Lakers' organizational strategy of extending the series has always been building toward, with the added benefit that the team they are trying to extend the series against is now 0-2 and facing the most hostile historical odds available in the playoff format. The LeBron height joke about Kevin Durant after Game 2, saying that Durant is definitely 7 feet tall and that he knows Durant does not like it because Durant wants so badly to be listed as 6'9" or 6'10", is the specific post-game moment that tells you everything about LeBron's psychological state in this series and his relationship with the competitive situation he is navigating. A player who has just beaten Kevin Durant in a playoff game by throwing a suffocating second-half defensive scheme at him, who has gone up 2-0 in a series every expert predicted he would lose, who is doing things at 41 years old that the commissioner of the league says 25-year-olds cannot do. That player walks into the post-game press conference and makes a height joke. Not a serious competitive statement. Not an extended analysis of what the Lakers did well. A height joke. The specific ease with which LeBron deployed that joke, knowing it would get under Durant's skin, knowing it would become the viral clip, knowing that the psychological pressure of being 0-2 in a series you were supposed to win while your opponent cracks jokes about your height is a very specific kind of competitive humiliation, is the competitive intelligence that separates LeBron from every other player of his generation at this stage of his career. LeBron said he did not know how many more opportunities he would get to play in the postseason in his career, and that he lives for these moments. And the height joke is the specific expression of someone who is genuinely living in the moment rather than managing the anxiety of it. Durant will be mad about the comment. Durant will use it as motivation heading into Game 3. And LeBron, who has been motivating opponents with casual post-game statements for 23 professional seasons and winning anyway, will be on the floor in Houston on Friday trying to go up 3-0 against the team that everyone picked to win this series before the first tip-off. Thinking about it carefully, the height joke is the most confident possible signal about where LeBron's head is right now. And a 41-year-old man making height jokes about Kevin Durant after going up 2-0 without his 2 best players is a 41-year-old man who believes completely in what he and this team are doing, which is the specific psychological foundation that makes everything the analytics say about this series being improbable feel less relevant than what the scoreboard says about it being real.